So it's important to keep the database updated and to make sure you don't have repeats. Sometimes a customer can be, put in as Anne Marie Stafford, but it's the same as Ann Stafford. And so match codes are used for each name on the list, and the match code actually has data in it. And if a match code is very close between two people, it needs to be looked at to see whether it's the same person. And you can also look for MVCs. Now, this slide is courtesy of Walter Kerner, who is the head of security here for databases and data at FIT, who comes and lectures to my database class every spring and does a wonderful job. He's a great speaker, and this is one of his slides that I purloined, and these are some of the security controls that you need to use if you're running marketing somewhere and you've got a database. So obviously, who has access to the database is controlled tightly and is looked at periodically to see if it's still appropriate for certain people to have the control. And it includes having a user ID, source address of the requester, and keeping track of things that are unusual in terms of requests from the database. Every interaction with the database is logged. And also, the people who build the database coding need to be careful not to allow holes and things that can be penetrated by a smart hacker. And this is another one of Walter's slides. This is the dark web, or meant to show the dark web, which is does exist. It does have an address, and a number of illegal things, services, and products are sold on the dark web. One of the most popular is you can hire people to hack somebody else's database for a certain price per name, or they could be sending millions of emails to a database. There are all kinds of things hackers can do to screw people up, and you actually can hire people to do this, and you'll never know where they're based or who they are. And of course, this brings to mind what the Russians were doing, and I'm sure others in the last election and supposedly currently. I got a few more things to say about databases, but I think it's appropriate to now address what's called the direct marketing cycle. Okay, and there's a lot of text on this slide. But basically, and you don't need to know every word here at all, but again, you need to know the concept, which is the following. Assuming you are in a business, an existing business with an existing customer base and customer database, the cycle begins by segmenting your database into MVCs and LVCs and other apt segments, relevant segments, finding out everything you can demographically and psychographically by looking at your own data, talking to companies like Axiom and others to get extra information. Then you segment the database. You don't have a million segments probably. Of course, Facebook has thousands and thousands of segments. It gets a little complicated for a marketing company to address more than, say, 10, just practically. And then you develop communications plans to move whatever that segment is along the purchase funnel, from loyalty to advocacy. And those plans will involve customized email communication and offers, event triggers. If they buy something new, something happens, you invite them to be in a club, a loyalty program. I mean, you basically you put in place plans that are to a large degree automated, run off your database to communicate with these customers based on what they do. And each segment is treated differently. And then every time you do something, you always hold out some customers to try different subject lines, different offers, etc. So you always got a testing matrix. And then you're always going back the next time you do it and doing whatever tests the best and still testing, ... And that's this cycle. Then, of course, for your prospecting, you're looking for people who match your MVCs. But it's the scientific method. It's the direct marketing cycle to, keep bringing in new customers who match your MVCs, keep testing and improving programs and just going around and around and around like that and making everything smarter and better. The direct marketing cycle. There's a kind of another way to show it. I've already, all right, so you can see, looking at the top, you're using data to create segments, choosing media channels and creating messages to reach the segments. You're running campaigns targeting the segments with special messages for them. You're getting the data. You're looking at the best and worst segments by channel and messages. Then you're picking the best performing, and you're spending more against the best performing segments, channels, using best messages. You're getting data and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. Okay, now we are going to break for a quick multiple choice quiz, which each of you will be doing on databases.